Welcome to the channel, welcome to today's run through of all the latest Manchester United news and transfer updates, keeping you right up to date with everything. I'm Jamie. Before getting into it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's jump straight into it. So let's kick off with the transfer news. So Ruben Amorim has made Inter Milan's Federico Dimarco his primary target for Manchester United in the January transfer window and is eager to bring him in. Now, Dimarco is a name that we have been linked with a few times. This has come from an Italian news outlet. I don't know the credibility. They're a Naples news outlet. I don't know why they would be getting an exclusive on an Inter Milan story and a United story, so I would say firstly take it with a pinch of salt. But Dimarco is a player that we have been linked with before, left wing back, so knows the role, knows the position. If we are looking to bring somebody in for that or for competition for Patrick Dorgu, is 27, coming up 28-year-old, way outside though of not way, but outside of the age range that Ineos are trying to bring in. We know we're looking for maybe more Premier League proven players as well, or younger profile of players that we can bring in and, you know, develop ourselves that have got, you know, development in them. So doesn't tick the boxes for that. Would tick the box in terms of, you know, knows the role, very attacking, like very, very good. I mean, holy shit, his stats for an attacking wing back, you probably couldn't get better than that in terms of, you know, shot creating actions and all of the attacking output that you can see in green, everything 96% or above. So that means he is in the top 4 to 1% of players in that position for his attacking output. Same with touches in the penalty area, progressive passes received as well. I would worry, though, about those defensive stats. Like, I don't know, you know, like it looks very medium for me. And we know the Premier League is a lot more physically demanding. Like, if you look at the comparison between him and Patrick Dorgu, I mean, yes, offensively, he's a lot better. So he's completed 100% of his crosses. His expected assists is a little bit higher than, well, a lot higher than Dorgu's as well. You know, progressive passes, much better. Defensive duels won, though, 5.5% for Dimarco against 33.6% for Dorgu. Defensive duels, Dorgu, much better in that area. Aerially, pretty similar as well. Progressive carries, Dorgu is absolutely brilliant at bombing up the pitch and carrying the ball out of defence, which is what I think Ruben Amorim likes. But, you know, the problem with Dorgu is his end product, isn't it? It's his end product that is the issue with Dorgu, where sometimes I think he trips over himself a lot of the times, gets the ball trapped under his feet. His first touch isn't quite there, and he does need to work and improve on his balls into the box and his crossing and stuff like that is where I get the criticism there. But everything outside of that, like his physicality, you know, he's an absolute beast, fast, powerful, wins most of his duels. Do you know what I mean? Like I think Dorgu's got the potential to be a really, really good player. It's just he needs to work on that final end product. And Dimarco, I think, would fix that. Has definitely got a good final end product going off of the stats and the data. But I would worry about his lack of physicality or his lack of defensive output. I don't know if that would translate to Premier League football is my concern. But I've not watched too much of him outside of the Champions League, where, you know, he's had some decent performances, but went a bit missing in the Champions League semi-final last year. But give us your thoughts and feelings on Dimarco. Good shout, bad shout. I'd want to see a bit more credibility before getting too giddy regarding it. I don't know what Inter's appetite to sell him would be in January as well, or the price or anything of that nature. But yeah, I would bow down to your knowledge on the player. So get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think. Good option, bad option. Give us your shouts below. There's been a weird set of stories going on regarding the goalkeeper situation, mainly starting from Samuel Lucas, who is now writing for The Sun. So, you know, and I've always said Samuel Lucas is connected, but he is a pot stirrer as well, likes to stir the pot, is a bit of a shit stirrer. So, you know, it might be a match made in heaven for him going to The Sun now, saying that Manchester United have prioritised a major goalkeeper signing next year. United head coach Ruben Amorim confirmed last week that United do not have a outright number one keeper following highlighting the £18.2 million deadline day signing of Sen Lemons, and then also went on to say that AC Milan custodian Mike Maignan is out of contract next year, and United recently dealt with his representatives as Brian Mbumo is among their clients. So that came out initially from Samuel Lucas. Alex Crook from TalkSport said that Ruben Amorim still wants an experienced goalkeeper after signing Sen Lemons. United is keeping an eye on Mike Maignan, whose contract expires at the end of next season. So two reporters there who I would say I'd want to see a little bit more credibility on before making too much of a decision regarding the goalkeeper. Like, it just makes no sense to me that we would go for Sen Lemons and then with him not even kicking a ball in anger on the pitch yet, all of a sudden be saying, well, no, we need a more experienced goalkeeper. Because why on earth would you not have gone for Donnarumma or Emi Martinez if you wanted an experienced goalkeeper? I get why we didn't go for Donnarumma because of his wages. Once and is on an absolute wedge and outside of the wage structure that we're bringing down under Ineos. But why not Emi Martinez, who wanted to come as experienced goalkeeper, Premier League proven? Why would you then not go down that route, go for Sen Lemons, and then within, a month or two of the transfer window closing, decide, actually, maybe we should have got a more experienced goalkeeper. That would be a good idea. Makes zero sense to me. If you wanted an experienced and a younger goalkeeper, you should have maybe gone for Martinez and then used Vitek as your up and coming one. So I can't see it being plausible. I think it's a little bit of media mischief because, like I said, Samuel Lucas has now gone to the Sun, probably where he's going to suit them. And Alex Crook, it works for TalkSport. These are places where, they do like to put news stories out there regarding United, clickbait stories, that sort of thing. So I'd want to see a lot more credibility before, getting too giddy or not giddy around a new goalkeeper. Because like I said, Sen Lemons has not even kicked the ball in anger yet. Can we not at least see how he gets on? Because what if he comes in and he's absolutely mint, which I hope he is, then it doesn't matter, does it? Because then we've got a number one goalkeeper for the next 10 years or so, and maybe longer if he's as good as what he's believed to be by going off of the scout reports and, all the hype around him as well. So, yeah, can we do that first, I think, before looking at then, maybe we need a new experienced goalkeeper after buying one of the best young goalkeepers around at the moment. Makes no sense. But give us your shouts on that in the comments below. Now, the one area, though, that we do know we are looking to strengthen is midfield. Been another report linking us with Conor Gallagher this time. I read it in the People's Person via OneFootball, where the headline is that Atletico are willing to consider January bid for a Man United target. It actually came from Mundo Deportivo, though, where they're claiming, where it says claim Premier League clubs, including United and Crystal Palace, are lurking ahead of the January transfer window. The 25-year-old has failed to cement his place in Diego Simeone's starting lineup, having only started twice in the first 6 games this season. The Spanish outlet believed the Englishman is a square peg in a round hole for Simeone, who doesn't appear to be a huge admirer of the player's profile. But then it goes on to say that, however, it is understood Atletico view Gallagher as an important player and would take an offer of over 60 million euros to convince Los Republicos to change their stance in the next window. That just makes no sense to me. Again, that story, because in one hand they're saying that he's seen as a square peg in a round hole, but then there's an important player and they want 60 million euros for him. Which one is it? It can't be both. You can't say, yeah, he doesn't fit the team and fit the system. Yeah, we want 60 million euros for him because he's seen as an important player. If he's that important, then he would be a square peg in a square hole. Surely, but I don't think we should go anywhere near Gallagher for 60 million euros. So if you could get him on a cheap deal or a loan with an option to buy or obligation to buy or something of that nature, I can see it maybe making a bit of sense. Although I was thinking actually before reading the report, did Mainu not take Gallagher out of the England team for the last Euros as well? Yet we're going to bring in Gallagher, who to potentially play ahead of Mainu. Now, that makes no sense to me as well. But I could see the reason why he would fit the profile and why we want him, with his energy, his legs, his athleticism in midfield, because he's not necessarily the best ball progressing midfielder, but he does what we would need somebody to do in midfield, like an Ugarte. I think maybe better getting in the box and in and around the penalty area than Ugarte as well. But yeah, give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Now, this was an interesting story, actually. So it said, under the eye of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his Ineos hierarchy, the Reds have undergone an internal transformation with a clear focus on engineering a suitable structure to achieve Project 150. Although there have been enhanced efforts in manufacturing dossiers in South America, the Superliga is viewed as a potential gem for identifying talent. United have monitored the growth of several of the league's young stars and remain keen on Ognjen Ugresic and Jovan Milosevic, both of whom are regarded as two of Serbian football's most promising names. I have probably butchered the pronunciations on that, so apologies. Don't come at me if you're going to be the pronunciation police, please. Okay, but Ugresic is a 19-year-old midfielder, seen as very talented. Milosevic is a 20-year-old striker, both of whom I know no more than that about, because they're not players that I've heard of, seen, researched, not a lot of data out them on there as well, but they are very, very highly regarded. And it also goes on to say that United possesses significant interest in both and wishes to be notified of any potential offers from European rivals. Now, that came from Sean Connolly, who I think is a decent source for United as well, suggesting that as well as looking at the South American market and the African market, I think under Christopher Vivell, they are looking at the Superliga because they think that there are some special talented players or young players or prospect players coming from that particular part of the world and that league. And two of the names on there as well, Ugresic and Milosevic as well, are two of the names that we've been asked to be kept informed of, meaning that if teams go in for them, we maybe would be forced to make a bid, or we might not pursue it any further, depending on the offers and the teams and stuff like that as well. So interesting profiles. And that's the one thing I actually think we're getting right, is the targeting of these sort of players, like the young developmental players, the up-and-coming players as well. It's got Christopher Vivell's fingerprints all over those sort of deals as well. So I'm not overly concerned or anything. If we're looking to bring in these sort of players, then brilliant. I just hope there's a pathway to the first team. Obviously, I think that's difficult to identify if there is a clear pathway to the first team this season, because no European football and stuff. It's going to be hard for young players to break in, but I think we've done some good loans for our young players as well. So yeah, two potential options there as well. Two young up-and-coming profile of players from the Superliga that United are looking at and are interested in and want to be kept informed on any potential transfers as well. But again, I will bow down to your knowledge. Let me know in the comments if you know more about the players, and share it with everyone else if you know too much about them. Good options, bad options. Give us your shouts below. Now let's go through. So Fabrizio Romano via Gimme Sports said that Italian clubs have not stopped tracking Zirkzee, but United are keeping their doors closed at the moment. Amorim considers him an important player. So what Romano was effectively saying is that the Italian clubs have not really lost sight of Joshua Zirkzee. We know he's been heavily linked with going back to Italy since we've signed him pretty much. As well, but Ruben Amorim doesn't want to sell him. He sees him as an ideal for can play as the 10, potentially as backup at the number 9 as well. It's good. We know Joshua Zirkzee wants to stay and fight for his place, or he did. Limited minutes though. Again, it's one of these, isn't it? Like limited minutes. Like he would have been a good player to bring on for the second half against Chelsea. Instead of putting in Mbeumo up front. If you weren't going to bring Sesko off, Zirkzee wouldn't have been a bad shout, because he's good as a target man, but good at kind of holding up the ball and playing people in as well. And maybe that would have been a better option for that second half against Chelsea, to give us like that sort of outlet if you didn't want to keep Sesko on the pitch and you wanted to change, like bring a striker off to keep the shape and help defend that 2-goal lead that we had, which I get the reason why. It's just I think we lost a little bit of that connection on our ability to move forward when we lost that target man up front. Zirkzee would have been a brilliant shout to bring off. So where are his minutes coming from this year? That's going to be the question. So you can see maybe why from Zirkzee's perspective, maybe the fact he wants to stay and fight for his place and stuff is admirable, and I like his attitude and mentality from coming back from adversity, from being subbed half-time last season against Newcastle and stuff. But where are his minutes? Where are his minutes going to come from? Because obviously we know Cunha, Mount, Mbeumo, Sesko's getting more game time now as well. They seem to be the players vying for the forward positions at the moment. But I'd like to hope, in an ideal world, we would be good enough to be able to go to maybe not Brentford. Brentford are always going to be a difficult place to go. But against like Sunderland at home, for example, if we were in a better position, within the team and stuff. That would be the game where in the past maybe you could put a few fringe players on and give them some minutes in that sort of game. But at the moment, we're at the position where every game is massive, where we have to win it because of the pressure Ruben Amorim's under and the fact that, we've not won back-to-back Premier League games under his leadership, his 31 or 32 game. He'd be bottom of the league, relegated, and all of that stuff. Where I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to maybe mix and match. We're going to have to go with our best team for the foreseeable. So it's going to be difficult for someone like Zirkzee. So maybe that could be one to keep an eye on in the future. Although, as Romano was saying, Amorim doesn't want to sell him, but will he change his standpoint? Is what I'm saying. With his limited minutes that he's potentially going to get this season. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Now, I'm just going to check my news feed because my phone has been absolutely going off it with news. Samuel Lucas about Amad Diallo. The club have offered Amad support for the winger after the winger suffered online abuse for posting a picture with Alejandro Garnacho. Club sources accepted the Instagram upload was naive, but stressed that Amad is okay in wake of the ordeal. So I don't like any of that sort of nonsense, me. I don't see why we should be going after somebody for being friends with somebody else. Like, it's just petty. I get why people are angry at Garnacho. I'm angry at Garnacho as well, but, giving Amad abuse for that as well, just lacks, just no need. Bang out of order, in my opinion, personally. But yeah, give us your thoughts on that in the comments below. And then the final story I've got for you is regarding Paul Scholes. Had the following to say regarding Marcus Rashford, saying, I really struggle to feel happy for him, mainly because of his attitude towards Man United towards the end. I thought it was disgraceful. The amount of times I saw him at Man United walking because he wants to leave. I thought his whole demeanour about him was a disgrace. I think he quit on Manchester United, and once you quit, you will quit again. So this was on a podcast that he's done with Nicky Butt as well. Pretty brutal on Rashford, but I don't disagree with him neither. I don't disagree with what he was saying. Like, I saw that with my own eyes as well. Marcus Rashford not putting in any effort. Like, you can see the clips all online, just literally pretending to jog and letting players just literally jog around him, putting in zero effort on the pitch as well. And obviously that's why we had to part ways ultimately, and I think Rashford's just as much to blame, if not more to blame, than anybody else, because he's responsible for stuff on the pitch. Like, yes, you can be upset with the manager, yes, you can be upset with the environment or whatever's happened behind the scenes, right, from that perspective, but you're still responsible for going on the pitch and looking after yourself and putting in effort and stuff. So it's hard to disagree, I think, with what Paul Scholes was saying there regarding Marcus. But give us your thoughts and feelings on that in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on all the other topics discussed in today's video, because that's you all up to date with the latest news and transfer updates. Smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.